Okay. All right. Let's see. One person in here. Okay. Need to end that. All right. If you guys can hear me, just bear with me just a second. I don't know why my PC crashed. That sucks. Okay. Is this the new one? Okay. All right. Bear with me, guys. Just a minute. Yep. This is the new one. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Let's see. Mic check, mic check. Hear you now. I see and hear you. Okay, cool. Sorry, guys. I don't know why, but it crashed. So I just need to fix one thing here. Make sure we're all set up in the right mode. Sorry, guys. It happens. I lost my thumbnail and everything. There we go. All right. I'll fix the rest later. Okay. All right. I think it was that video I was going to play for you guys. I took it off a different hard drive, and apparently that video it did not like. So we'll just play it off YouTube instead of what I got. So my apologies. I just got to quickly set up the chat so I can highlight you guys. So bear with me just a second. We'll get right back to it. All right, there we go. Dang, that sucks though, because I was hoping it would still... Usually if you freeze or something, YouTube will still keep your live going, because obviously somebody's going to have like a power outage or something, and so they usually will keep the live going for a bit to allow you to come back in, but it looks like it ended, so which sucks. But anyway, what can you do? Okay, almost ready to go here. Just need to put that there. Okay, let's see if this... Yeah, shit happens. Exactly. Okay. I think we're all set up now. Right. Yep. Okay, stream is good. Okay, back to where we were at. I was going to play the interview. So I'm going to just pull it off YouTube because I don't want that to happen again. I think it's something to do with that video. It was acting so weird. So Brooks Houck's interview. We just want the part where he gets the phone call. Okay, here it is. We're not going to listen to the whole thing. We're just going to go to the part where he gets the phone call because it's so suspicious. All right, here we go. Okay, we're back in it.
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited.
Oh, while we're waiting, YouTube is doing something new. If you see ads pop up, I'm sorry. This is something that they're doing. They're trying to help us creators with monetization, and so now they're adding like live ads, and this goes with everybody. It's not just me. Any live person you see live. So if you do see ads pop up, I'm sorry. It's kind of out of my hands right now. They're in like a beta phase for it. All right, so he's brought in for the interview, and he tells the story. Like I was just telling earlier that the last time he saw his wife, and he tells the story about the at night where they go to the farm, and it is very odd because they got this young baby with them, and it's raining, and supposedly they're walking a farm, when it's raining and at night, and it just doesn't add up. And he also mentions a guy who we'll be talking about here very soon is a guy named Lawson. He's actually one of the first people to be arrested in connection. He was actually arrested 2 weeks ago. This would have been big, major news 2 weeks ago, but I think that was when obviously the manhunt was going on. So this kind of fell under the radar. So anyway, so as you can see, it's almost, where is it at here? We'll get to the 7 o'clock here.
Reason.
Okay, here let me back it up. So he gets a suspicious phone call right at 7 o'clock. All right, here. And he acts like, you know, this is just all natural, but you can tell it's a setup.
A mutual agreement where that's what they did, that's just what they did. I never really...
And the person that's calling him is going to be his brother Nick, who obviously at the time was in the law enforcement.
Struggled with it, you know.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I guess where I go from here, we're still getting video from different places, you know, that along that route.
Can I get this?
Sure.
Here it is.
Hello?
No. I'm up here. I know that you didn't know. I'm up here in this interview with the detective.
Can you guys hear it okay? Let me know, because I can always crank it up more if you guys can't hear it.
Detective Snow. I've been up here a good little while. I'm filling out this this statement here and everything. Are you telling me that's what I need to do?
Please crank it a little bit. Okay, I can turn it up a little bit. I don't want to blow people's eardrums, but let me know just a little bit more. A little? Okay. I'm just playing a small clip, but you can clearly see it's a setup and it's phony.
We're still getting video from different places, you know, that along that route.
Can I get this?
Sure. Hello?
No. I'm up here. I know that you didn't know. I'm up here in this interview with the detective, Detective Snow. I've been up here a good little while. I'm filling out this this statement here and everything. Are you telling me that's what I need to do? I know that. But the way that I look at it is, I'm innocent. I ain't done nothing wrong. Well, you know, I know you told me innocent people have got damned up, but if you're telling me to leave, I'll get up and leave. If you want me to.
Yeah, is that coming from the video? It is coming from the video. I was wondering, I'm like, is that me? Okay, that's coming from the video. All right, I'll just play a little bit more. Yeah, that's coming from the video.
I know I'm going through a lot, but I'm trying to get this guy to help me.
Right.
I don't think she's ran off with some other guy. I don't believe that. You can't make me think that. No. Yeah, so do I. I'll do exactly what you're telling me to do right now. Do you want me to get up and leave? Man, I don't think these guys. I don't think these people are vindictive just to.
So keep in mind, this is his brother who works at the police department is telling his brother, you know, hey, they're going to be shady and they're going to try to throw you under the bus, even though, you know, he's supposed to be serving the law. And I can tell you they were not happy, and they will bring him in. We'll talk about his brother here in just a second. I'll play just a little bit more. It's pretty much over.
to skin me for no reason. Man, this is not their family. This is not.
Yeah, he is speaking really loud. You can almost hear
All right, thank you.
Nick.
He thinks y'all are gonna fuck is what he thinks.
I don't know who he is.
Nick, my brother.
If you want to go, you're free.
No, I know it, but I'm not. He just said just to keep sitting up here, he said, give a statement, do an interview, whatever I got to do it. But he said,
I mean, he's only been in here for a little over an hour. But yeah, clearly BS. The phone call comes in right on the hour. And absolutely BS. So moving on. Pull this back up here. So where'd we leave off at? So he gets the call. We bring him in. That's that one here. And so they end up holding some, they look for her, some search parties. And none of these search parties is Brooks involved in. And so finally, he is brought on Nancy Grace. And I hope this plays okay.
Joining me right now, in addition to her parents.
So this is just a short clip where, because they hadn't gotten answers for weeks. And this is Nancy Grace. And they get in contact with Brooks, and this is because she confronts him like, why aren't you being involved with these search parties? You're the boyfriend, and you have a baby together, and he's nowhere to be seen. So here is this short little clip from Nancy Grace. There's no video because obviously I get copyrighted.
Saw Tom and Sherry Ballard, her boyfriend that she lived with. They're in their 3-bedroom suburban home. Brooks Houck is with us. So Brooks, you go to bed and she's still playing games on her phone. The next morning around 8 o'clock, you notice that she's missing. Did you report her missing?
No, ma'am.
Why?
That is a great question, and one that I definitely want to hit the public and the media. I was not in the least little bit alarmed in any way, shape, or form. We have had a stress relationship at times, and one of the ways that Crystal has always chose to cope or to deal with that is by going to a young woman's name, Sabrina, that is her cousin, her dad's brother's daughter, whom she's very close to. And she spent the night there on several occasions.
When you say several, do you mean 1, 3, 20?
In the neighborhood of 4 to 6.
Okay,
like that.
Tom and Sherry Ballard, were you aware of that? Do you know who Sabrina is?
Yes, ma'am.
That's my niece.
Okay. Did you know that she goes and spends the night over there when she's having an issue at home?
I've known probably one time.
Right. Okay, I want to go back to Brooks Houck, who was the last person to see her alive. Brooks, did you go on to the July the 4th get-together that day?
Yes, I did.
Even though you didn't know where she was?
Well, I was expecting, I'd putting in a phone call that morning and then around lunch. And usually the maximum period of time that she has stayed gone has only been like a day to a day and a half at the most. And as a result of that, I thought that she would.
Did you try to call her?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, ma'am.
Did you try to call her during that time?
Not while I was there at the 4th. I called her prior.
So it's a July 4th holiday weekend, and you're not concerned on where your, the mother of your child is.
To leaving to head in that direction, yes, ma'am.
Some people have accused you of not being involved enough in the search efforts. What's your response?
That is a great question, and one I certainly appreciate you asking me. And that is, all of my efforts in searching for her have been done behind the scenes with the Nelson County Sheriff's Office.
Like what?
Detective Snow, who's leading the investigation, and Jason Allison, who's a deputy there assisting him, along with the Kentucky State Police Agency Post Number 12. So
well, my question was what you had been doing with them, but let me ask you this. I know that you agreed to take a polygraph. Did you pass?
Because of the way that the lines or whatever were on the thing, they determined it to be what's called inconclusive. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but they did tell me it does mean that I wasn't lying, or I didn't pass it, or I didn't.
He wasn't telling the truth, but he wasn't lying. Yeah, so there's part of his interview, but yeah, it's really a disgrace because, but I know some people love her or hate her, Nancy Grace, but that was a really interesting clip because she does call him out, like where are you, why, what are you doing? The family's, out there with these search parties and you're not helping, but then he brings up, oh, well, I've been helping with, behind the scenes. So that's his excuse. So moving on, if this case just, this whole thing, especially with the town, couldn't get any, the tragedy just couldn't get any worse. Let's see, we got this one. And of course the father, was looking into her case, kind of taking things in his own hands because now it had been a year. There had been no arrest. At one point, they did eventually, I think it's before his life was taken, they did officially name the boyfriend, Brooks Houck, as the main suspect, but he was never arrested until now. This is why it's such a big deal. But sadly, he was... after his daughter, Crystal Rogers, disappeared in July 2015. So remember, every year there's some tragedy. And sadly, another year goes by, and they're looking for Crystal, having all these search parties, and the father is doing his own investigation. And if you see the documentary on Oxygen, or Peacock as it is on now, they kind of rummaged through some of the stuff that he went through. And he had piles and piles of stuff that he was digging into for this case to, hopefully solve his daughter's disappearance. But sadly, on the morning of November 19th, 16 months after his daughter's disappearance, Tommy, is his name, was on a hunting trip with his grandson, his 12-year-old grandson, on the family property. And this is not far. Everything was all close together. But this is the actual location that they were hunting. And sadly, from what I think the grandson said, is that that his grandpa, Tommy, had saw something off in the distance and went to look down in a scope, and a gunshot rang off, and one shot was fired, and it hit Tommy in the chest and instantly killed him. So he was literally assassinated, and they believe that that it happened, that maybe possibly two people were involved, where one car was parked. There was a driver and a shooter. The driver dropped the shooter off. The shooter was in this tree line just off the parkway here. They actually found the area where the gun was shot in the documentary, which is very interesting because you can see where the kickback was. I guess they planned this because they actually sawed off a branch, picked a very unique spot where they would be kind of hidden. but yet they had a good line of sight. And they were in this tree line, and one shot was fired. And so sadly, Tommy was his life was taken. So now the bodies were piling up each year, sadly. Let me close that and move on to so then there was a bunch of searches where they thought they had found human remains. There was a ton of them, and I got a video we'll play here in a second which gets us all the way up to date. But in July 2020, there was possible human remains discovered on the county line. They were sent for testing, but I don't think anything ever came back. They also searched the farm multiple times. I don't think anything came of that. Then they also, Houck's had rental property that he had, and they have searched that as well. And then, let's see, there was the FBI went back to the farm again in 2022. So just last year, they were looking for her remains. And then finally, we'll play the update. Let's see, where's the video here? Okay, here it is. So here is, and there was finally an arrest made. They knew, like I said, they had announced that Brooks was a suspect. Oh, I failed to mention that they did bring in the brother. I did skip that. I'm sorry, I missed this part. But they did bring in the brother, Nick, after he, after Brooks did an interview, then Nick was brought in, especially after the captain heard that he had called his brother while he was getting interviewed. The captain was not happy about that. So they brought him in and did an interview. They would eventually do a polygraph with Nick. They said he failed. There's actually a video of him getting confronted. He gets very confrontational and denies that he's involved in anything. And anyways, they would end up firing him. So now play the video.
Right now, a breakthrough in the Crystal Rogers case after 8 long years for the family and people of Bardstown. It's our top story right now at noon. A Nelson County man was arrested in connection to the Crystal Rogers disappearance. 32-year-old Joseph Lawson, that's him right there on your screen. He's facing multiple charges. This is the first arrest and charges that we've seen in any of the 5 unsolved Bardstown cases. His charges are specifically tying him to Crystal Rogers' case. Now, Crystal disappeared over 4th of July weekend back in 2015. Her father, Tommy Ballard, later found her car along the Bluegrass Parkway. Inside, he found her keys, cell phone, and purse. Rogers had been presumed dead since October of 2015. And since then, Rogers' family, multiple law enforcement agencies, and many within the Nelson County community have worked endlessly to find answers. Now, what are those people working endlessly to find answers? Shay McAllister, you're joining us now live, of course, right here in the studio to help us break down this new development.
Yeah, so I think first, let's get right to the charges so we know exactly what we're dealing with here. So the first charge is conspiracy to commit murder. This is in connection to an incident on 4th of July weekend, 2015. Important to note that is the very weekend that Crystal Rogers was reported missing, the last time anyone saw her alive.
So this was the first arrest. This is Lawson. And this happened 2 weeks ago. And like I said, this kind of got overlooked with, I think, between the Delphi and the manhunt. Because this would have been huge news. I didn't even know about it. But yeah, this was wild. And well, they'll talk about the connection, but he actually, Brooks mentions a Lawson in his interview that we watched earlier before he got the phone call. He mentioned a Lawson. I guess this guy worked for Brooks and is believed to be in on the disappearance of Crystal. We don't know to what extent, but he was the first to be arrested. And then today is when they arrested Brooks. But I just wanted to get to the chat real quick. I just realized, is it D-Sam-I-M instead of Sam Lamb? Because the L looks like an I. Let me know, D. But thank you so much for the $20 and the support. That really helps Donations really help creators like myself continue, and I think most of you guys know that we use a lot of that to towards the cold cases that we work on. So thank you so much for the $20 and the support. So we'll keep playing this.
Some of the details we learned in the court documents, which we just got from the Nelson County Courthouse this morning, is Lawson's accused of agreeing to aid in the planning or commission of a crime intentionally causing the death of another person. He has pleaded not guilty to that one. The second charge in this case, tampering with physical evidence. Again, it's in connection to an incident on 4th of July weekend, which is the big weekend in this case.
Right.
Reported missing. This one breaks down to mean that he is accused of destroying, mutilating, concealing, or removing or altering physical evidence in the case. We have no idea what that evidence could be. The details of these indictments are sealed. So really, we just know the details of the charges, not what they actually mean. Here's what we know about the timeline. So this indictment was filed in June of 2023. That is actually when the grand jury came back with the indictment earlier this summer. The arrest warrant was signed and executed in August, and he was just now arraigned in court yesterday. And when we say in court, we mean it loosely because he was actually in a hospital bed. Take a look.
The formal reading of the indictment has been effected. The court's going to enter pleas of not guilty in both cases. The court is going to proceed.
I already told you that. He has pleaded not guilty in both of these cases. You see him right there in the hospital bed. The only time I heard him talk while listening to this video from yesterday is when he was asked his birthday to confirm his identity, and he said, yes, sir, that's my birthday, that's it. Haley, they set another court date for the end of October.
Okay, so obviously there's still a ton of questions, a lot of answers you're still working on getting, but first of all, we've never heard this guy's name before in connection to this case. Do we know what that connection could be right now?
Well, as you can imagine, Nelson County small community room.
No, I got 4 interviews. They're all stitched together. We do a little bit know a little bit more about his connection. We actually see a part of his Zoom, so we will get a little bit more information.
Everybody thinks they know the connection.
I'm going to skip this forward a little bit.
Went home together. He says the next morning she was gone. After 15, Ed Mattingly, who was the sheriff at the time, announced Crystal was presumed dead and declared Brooks as the main suspect. 18 months later, on November 19th of 2016, Crystal's father, Tommy, was out hunting when someone shot and killed him. His case is being investigated by Kentucky State Police. We're going to have more on Tommy's case in just a minute, but there would be no new developments until the FBI took over Crystal's case in August of 2020. They searched several properties, including the home of Brooks's brother, former Bardstown police officer Nick Houck, and the Houck family farm, where Crystal was last seen. Through all of this, Crystal Rogers' mother, Sherry Ballard, has been fighting for answers, at times through frustration, other times through tears.
It's just getting to be a lot on everyone, and I see
and this poor thing has been through hell and back. There's been so many searches where they thought they had found remains, and then just like I talked about earlier, that they did actually find some stuff that was sent to Quantico, but I'm assuming that came back negative because that was kind of the early days. And then there would be months would go by or a year would go by, and then there'd be another big search, and she would be right there along with the other family members, hoping that this was going to be it, that they would finally find her. So hopefully with these arrests, this will just kind of be a domino effect, and they get the justice they deserve because she is so sweet. This poor thing has been through hell and back.
Emotions it has on my daughter's kids.
I feel like she was just here yesterday, but at the same time, I feel like I haven't seen her in a long time. I just feel like a big hole has been left in my heart where she should be.
Here in Nelson County, there is one big question on everyone's mind. Who is Joseph Lawson, the man now facing charges in connection to the disappearance of Crystal Rogers? Well, today we went into the courthouse to get new court documents spelling out exactly how Joseph Lawson may be connected to the night Crystal was murdered. From a hospital bed, 32-year-old Joseph Lawson called into his court arraignment. A Nelson County judge on the other end of the video.
The formal reading of the indictment has been effected. The court's going to enter pleas of not guilty in both cases.
Lawson was indicted by a grand jury in June, charged with conspiracy to commit murder and tampering with physical evidence. Both charges filed in connection to an incident on 4th of July weekend, 2015. The same weekend, Crystal Rogers was reported missing, and just days before her keys, phone, and purse were found inside her car on the side of the Bluegrass Parkway. A warrant inspecting the case.
Skip this forward a little bit.
Okay, who is Steve Lawson? He's somebody works for me.
Houck explaining why he had a late-night phone call with Steve on the night Crystal disappeared, even calling Steve from inside the interrogation room.
The other night you called me really.
Oh, that's right. He ended up calling Lawson as well. I forgot about that.
I forgot what you asked me.
Steve is heard telling Houck he had called him because he had a question for Crystal, which Houck says he had to call and ask her and would call him back.
So that begs a question in my mind.
All right.
If she's in the truck next to you when he called, why would you need to call her?
We've since learned Steve Lawson has a son named Joseph Lawson. We're still working to confirm if his son is the same man who was arrested and is now expected back in court in October. Joseph Lawson was arraigned in Nelson County Circuit Court on 2 different charges. In one, he's facing a $500,000 bond, and the other is $50,000.
Okay. And that was the other day, so we still have more updates because obviously we're going to talk about the rest of Brooks. Angie, thank you so much. Thanks for the awesome content and the super kind personality. Thank you so much. That means the world to me. We try to do as much as we can. And thank you so much, Dom, for the PayPal. Sometimes I don't get the... I think with my new phone, I got to change my settings. For some reason, I don't get my notifications. But thank you so much, Dom. I got to change that.
A major arrested broke this morning. The case of Crystal Rogers is one of Bardstown's 5 unsolved murders, and now the significant arrest of former boyfriend Brooks Houck. As you can imagine, this is something the Ballard family and Bardstown have been praying for. Our team has been in Bardstown all day long. Isaiah Kim Martinez is hearing from residents who have followed this so closely. But first, Shay McAllister is live outside the Nelson County Courthouse. Shay, can you explain the charges here that we learned about today?
Yeah, I think Nick will be arrested
Absolutely,
next.
Doug. I mean, today's arrest certainly just absolutely huge news in this community. Brooks Houck was arrested by Kentucky State Police.
Okay, so I'm going to pause this real quick. We're at 15. Let's just look at him walking because I've been dying to see him. I think anybody that's following this case knew that this guy was suspicious, and it was only a matter of time because this guy just, nothing added up with him. So let's just look at the arrest videos just a couple of minutes here. But here he is. Finally, 8 years later.
Crystal Rogers?
Short clip, but finally justice. Anyway, we'll go back to the updates here because
Right
there's
now,
more.
a breakthrough in the Crystal Rogers case after 8 long years for the family and people of Bardstown. It's our top story right now at noon. A Nelson County man was arrested in connection to the Crystal Rogers disappearance. 32-year-old Joseph Lawson, that's him.
And we got over 500 in here. Thank you guys so much. Sorry for earlier losing connections. It happens. Some stuff is just out of our control. There he is. There's the mug shot. I guess there was 2 mug shots. There was one with him just wearing a regular shirt, which is on my thumbnail, and then this one here. And yeah, it's been a long time coming for this guy. I hope they throw the book at him, and hopefully they get answers, and hopefully this. Because it's not just one case. There's multiple cases. If you've been here for the entire show, you know, we don't know if they're all involved. All the other cases that we talked about, you know, the officer Ellis and the mother and daughter, if they're all connected, or if maybe 2 out of the 3 are connected. I'm assuming the mother and father are connected. Obviously, it seems like the father, Tommy, was getting close and he was taken out. But they did say more arrests are coming.
Rogers. We want to get you the information you need to know right now. So here are 3 things about this arrest. First of all, he is facing those 2 charges, 1 count of each. Again, it is murder and tampering with physical evidence. A Nelson County judge placed Houck under a $10 million cash bond. That is a huge cash bond, especially in this community. And as you know, Houck has been the main suspect in this case since 2015. He was the last person to see Crystal Rogers alive. Well, those charges were filed here at the Nelson County Courthouse early this morning. And within minutes of that arrest, Sherry Ballard, Crystal's mom, was here with Crystal's daughter inside the courthouse waiting to talk to the clerk. As it turns out, they weren't here because of the Brooks Houck arrest. They were here for something else. They were here to fight for custody of the son that Brooks shared with Crystal. That was Eli. And tonight we have an update on that custody battle and more details on the indictment.
Oh, there's 3 mugshots. Okay.
His face is not smug. He knows he's
There's
been
one of them.
caught.
It's an arrest that has everyone's attention. Brooks Houck, Crystal Rogers' boyfriend, and the main suspect in her disappearance, charged with her murder and tampering with physical evidence. According to the indictment, the charges stem from an incident July 4th weekend of 2015, just days before Crystal's car was found abandoned on the side of the Bluegrass Parkway with her keys, phone, and purse inside. He was named the main suspect within 3 months, but never charged until today.
It's just a miracle that this has happened, and finally, he's where he needs to be and where he's supposed to be, and he needs to stay there.
Federal investigators accuse Houck of intentionally causing the death of Crystal Rogers and destroying, concealing, mutilating, or removing physical evidence in connection to the crime. He was arrested without incident early Wednesday morning while on a job site outside of Bardstown.
Oh yeah, there he is. So yeah, he was working at a construction site. I do have a screenshot of that. Let's take a look at this loser finally. Screenshot. Where did I put you? I'll look for it later. No, I took it. Anyway.
We've been able to confirm this was the moment Brooks was put into handcuffs. He has since been booked into multiple jails, taking 3 different mugshots.
Sorry, but I was no kidding. Oh yeah, you're right. Oh, there was the 3. And that went really quick.
Website outside of Bardstown. We've been able to confirm this was the moment Brooks was put into handcuffs. He has since been booked into multiple jails, taking 3 different mugshots.
Oh, okay. That's why there's 3. Interesting.
My first reaction was just Sherry and her family getting the justice that they have fought so much for.
They won't say a word where she is.
Up.
Hopefully
Her
with this
faith
other arrest.
It's just been inspiring to everyone. And to get those answers, it gave me chills, for her.
While news of the arrest spread fast, Sherry Ballard, Crystal's mom, has been focused on something else, something she's been fighting for since the day her daughter disappeared. She wants custody of Eli, Crystal's son with Brooks. He was just a toddler when his mom went missing. We talked to Sherry about the custody battle 2 years ago, after Sherry lost all visitation rights and had no communication with the little boy.
One day, that baby is going to be old enough to come and see me.
How could he get full custody, especially being, even though he wasn't arrested at the time? I don't get how he could get full custody, considering he, is a suspect in the disappearance. That just amazes me. It reminds me of the what's the other case? Susan Powell, same thing. Josh Powell got the custody of the kids, and then that was, ended up in a very bad tragedy.
And he's going to know everything I have done to fight for him.
Today, that fight continued with a petition for emergency custody, according to someone close to the case. We're told it was denied for now, but a hearing later this week could change that. As for Eli's dad, he is currently in the Hardin County Detention Center on a $10 million bond.
Good for them.
So we first saw big movement in this case about 3 weeks ago with the arrest of Joseph Lawson. He was the first person arrested in the Crystal Rogers investigation, which has been going on for more than 8 years. Let's take a closer look at that arrest now. Lawson was indicted on September 7th by a Nelson County grand jury. He was charged with criminal conspiracy to commit murder and tampering with physical evidence. He pleaded not guilty to both of those charges. His bond has been set at $500,000, and we are expecting to see him back in court on October 26th. Lawson was the first arrest in connection to the Crystal Rogers case. But of course, today's developments, Brooks Houck's arrest is by far the biggest development. This case has been going on for 8 years, and there have been tons of searches. There have been tons of police investigations, different interviews along the way. Let's take a look back at the complete timeline of this investigation.
Okay, we'll skip this forward here, but Stephanie Snow, welcome. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Thank you so much, Stephanie. I was going to say, anybody considering becoming a member and supporting the channel, it's been on this YouTube channel for 2 years. I always put out a lot of content for the members. So there's nearly 2 years worth of, like I said, if you're a new member, you've got like literally 2 years worth of content where I've done everything, like behind the scenes, and of course, regularly, weekly uploads for the members, but yeah, there's tons of stuff to go back on if you're a new member.
Crystal was presumed dead and declared Houck the main suspect.
No comment. Thank you. Y'all have a good day.
Fast forward, it took over. Since we're back case have been praying.
Mugshots Wednesday. Boss broke the news to her Wednesday.
Relief.
Community is a relief.
To being that close to evil was just a very sinister feeling.
And as Houck's case works its way through the justice system,
hopefully this will lead to more arrests in that, or maybe being able to find out what happened in those other murders.
The prayer now is that further answers reveal themselves as a result.
Which case? Let's see.
We also talked to a former mayor here in Bardstown and current historian in Nelson County. She gives her perspective on the timeline between Houck's arrest and Joseph Lawson's weeks ago. What she had to say coming up right here at 6 o'clock. Shay.
All right, Isaiah, thank you so much for that update. Well, Crystal Rogers' case is one of the most high profile in our state. It is certainly one that top officials know about and talk about. Today, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear weighed in on the big arrest and said he is very thankful for all the hard work from investigators.
Well, it's good to see progress in the case, and I hope it continues to give the family the belief that we will get this case solved and that they will get justice for their daughter. The Kentucky State Police, working with others, have worked.
Yeah, there was, Peyton. There was a documentary. This is one I've mentioned a couple times now in the live. There was one. It was originally on Oxygen, but I think a lot of stuff that was on Oxygen is if you have Peacock, which I think is a great streaming service for the price. And they've added so much, and they have a lot of true crime. For true crime, I would say Peacock is really good. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, they did, and they actually brought in a team as well. They brought in an investigator. They actually went and searched the car and stuff. But yeah, it's a very interesting story with just so many layers, obviously. And yeah, it would be interesting to do for sure. Sam I Am. Okay. All right. That's what I was thinking. Because I've said Sam Lamb a couple times, and then I realized that may have been an I instead of an L. So there's one more update video here we'll play. And like I said, then we'll look at Suzanne as well. We haven't talked about it yet, and I just see people mentioning it. Let's see. I see some... I don't know why it's not coming up here. There it is. Curtis West, thank you so much for the $20 super sticker. You are so awesome. And good to see you, Pammy. Hope you're doing well. And thank you so much for your amazing support and the $20. That helps us out so much. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are so amazing. But yeah, we're getting kind of towards the end, and then we'll jump on Suzanne Morphew and see what the updates are.
Hard. They have never given up. They have worked this case over and over, trying to find new leads and new evidence. And so today I'm grateful for all of those law enforcement agencies for their work.
I think there's one more little news clip I got stitched in.
A big update there from the governor. Just grateful for all of the hard work. So the next time we see Brooks Houck,
well, it is over the years.
The grandmother's home. It was always one of those homes, and then the big search on the family farm. Those are the ones that we know the FBI was a part of, and that we know they found physical evidence that they were able to send back to the lab.
So let's talk about the arrest of Joseph Lawson. That was 20 days ago. Really set things into motion right now. It appears things really started moving after that. You learned more about his possible connection to Brooks Houck. What was that?
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Absolutely. So when we looked back in some of our archives, we were able to find a police interview from just days after Crystal went missing, where we found out that Brooks Houck had a late-night phone call with a Steve Lawson. During that phone call, police were suspicious of why they were on the phone in the middle of the night on the night Crystal disappeared. They definitely were not seeming to trust all of Brooks' answers. That's where we got the name Steve Lawson. We then confirmed that Steve Lawson has a son named Joseph Lawson. All of them work in the construction business, which of course is Brooks' line of work.
8 years after Crystal Rogers disappeared from Bardstown, her former boyfriend...
Right here. This is like, they just put this out just before I went live, so this is the last clip. It's just 3 minutes here.
Brooks Houck is in custody, charged with murder and tampering with evidence.
WDRB was the only news station there to capture Houck's transfer to the Nelson County Jail. Monica Harkins was there, and Monica, he didn't say anything as he went in.
That's correct, Valerie and Hayden. It was just about 45 minutes ago. We were the only ones to capture him coming in to the Nelson County Jail. This is just off 62. We saw the car pull in through the fence. As he got out of the car, I asked, where is Crystal Rogers? He didn't say anything as he entered the back of the jail. The Nelson County jailer was also on hand. Let's take a look at some of the video as he went in. You can see that clearly as this unmarked car goes through the gate. All of this, again, developing within the last 3 hours. Around 10:45, Houck showed up here, but it was around 8:45 this morning. The FBI of Louisville posted about Houck's arrest, and WDRB News, of course, staying on top of it in these last few hours. Rogers was last seen in July of 2015. The FBI post saying FBI and KSP have been laser focused on their commitment to hold accountable those that were responsible for the disappearance of Crystal Rogers, saying, quote, today we take a significant step in making good on that promise, end quote. Over the years, the Houck family farm, the homes of Brooks Houck and his brother Nick, have been searched multiple times.
So there's the guy in the hospital. Can you guys hear me okay? Let me just check something real quick. He is acting up again. Chris Davis. Why isn't my chat pulling up? That is weird. I've got to do something with this PC after. Anyway, let me finish this interview. There's just 1 minute left here.
Along with a storage unit belonging to Rogers. And 2 years ago, the FBI ripped up a driveway of a home built by Houck's construction company. And last year, the FBI was back at the Houck farm for a 5-day search. Earlier this month, Joseph Lawson was arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit murder in the Rogers disappearance. He has since pled not guilty. Now, Houck is being held on a $10 million bond for those 2 charges, murder and tampering with evidence. The FBI of Louisville says he could appear before a judge for his arraignment, which means this will be the time that he would enter a plea, whether that's not guilty or guilty, before that judge. It's expected in Nelson County Circuit Court. Again, Brooks Houck just entered this facility within the last 45 minutes. WDRB News is going to continue to stay on top of this. We've reached out to Crystal Rogers' family. So far, we haven't heard anything other than a couple family members showing up here to say they're happy to see him behind bars. We also heard neighbors yelling from their porches, saying they were happy to see him go in to this facility. Live in Nelson County with photojournalist Frank Stamper, Monica Harkins, WDRB News.
Monica, thank you. Here's a look at the timeline of the case. Crystal Rogers, a mother of 5, disappeared in July of 2015. In October.
Okay, so that's the updates. I'm sorry, guys. I've been trying to pull up stuff, but it's not letting me right now. I see you, Jennifer. I've been trying to click on it, and it won't pull up. I don't know why. I'm going to have to restart this computer. Something funky happened, so I'm going to have to reboot this thing after the live show. But thank you, Jennifer, for the 17 months. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, I just can't pull it up. I don't know why it's not working. Maybe if I close the window, maybe we'll do that. But let's look at Suzanne Morphew. There's one other thing. There's actually a document. One more thing before we move on to Suzanne. So this was released. I don't think there's any more inside details, but these are the 2 counts that Brooks Houck is facing. So they crossed out, I think, his date of birth and maybe his information. But here it says count 1 on July 3rd or July 4th. So one of those days, 'cause it was obviously in the middle of the night, probably when the incident happened. But it says acting alone or in complicity with another committed the offense of M by intentionally or under circumstances manifesting extreme indifference to human life, one only causing the death of Crystal Rogers. Then it says count 2, acting alone or in complicity with another, tampering with physical evidence when believing that an official proceeding may be pending or insinuated. He destroyed, mutilated, concealed. That's a weird word, mutilated. Concealed, removed, or altered the physical evidence. So I'm wondering if they're even talking about the body, which is sad to say, which he believed was about to be produced, which he believed was about to be produced or used in such official proceeding, with the intent to impair its validity or availability in the official proceeding. So that's the two. He's got a $10 million bail, so this guy ain't going anywhere. And then I think, what did it say? I think their court dates, they've got some set up in October. Because we have right now Brooks, Houck, and Joseph Lawson. And I believe I read somewhere where there's more arrests coming. I wouldn't be surprised if Nick, his brother, this guy here, at the very least will be arrested on, maybe he wasn't directly involved, but maybe helped after the fact. So I would expect more things to happen here soon, hopefully. Let's see here. Rainy Days, thank you so much for the 16-month milestone. That is so awesome. Sorry, I can't pull anything up right now. I will try to work on it. So let's look over at Suzanne Morphew. And let's just actually before we pull up an article, let's see if there's any news on it. She went missing, just so if you guys don't know, she actually went missing on my birthday in 2020. Let's see, this was released 2 hours ago, 1 hour ago. Let's play. We'll listen to both here.
My name is Rana Kseifi. I'm heading the UNHCR Libya protection team. I'm here on the ground in Derna with my...
For new developments in a high-profile case of a missing Colorado woman. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation saying remains found in Saguache County have now been positively identified as Suzanne Morphew. She's the Chaffee County mother of two who was reported missing on Mother's Day back in 2020.
Yeah, and we are told that investigators were searching in the area of Moffett in Saguache County, and we know this investigation has been going on for about 3.5 years now in her disappearance. Fox 31's Kim Posey is on it following this in studio. Kim, this is a long time coming. A lot of people waiting for this.
Yeah, a long 3 years for the Morphew family and for that community. Now, as you remember, Suzanne Morphew was reported missing by her husband, Barry, back on Mother's Day of 2020. Now, he said that she had gone for a mountain bike ride, and then she never came back. But I can tell you that he actually was accused in her death, but then those charges were dropped back in 2021. We've never really known what happened to her until today. Now, CBI did have investigators in this area. They say they were there for an unrelated case and that they did come across these remains. They are not offering any official press conferences right now, and we have not heard from Barry Morphew himself, but we are working to get those interviews. What happens now? The DA has not made a statement since this news broke about an hour ago, and neither has Barry Morphew, but we will keep you updated on air and online. Kim Posey, Fox 31.
All right, our thanks to Kim. We do.
So the husband was arrested, I believe, right? This is a case I don't know a lot about. I know of it, but the details I know very little about. I know the husband was, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, arrested at one point, but then released. There was affairs going on. I don't know if it was affairs on both sides, right? I think. I better not. I know on one side there was supposedly some affairs going on. Like I said, this case I haven't covered a lot of cases, and it's hard to keep track of them all. Let's play another clip here, see if there's any other news. I guess they're not really giving a lot of details. Obviously, it just barely happened. They were, I guess this wasn't even what they were looking. They weren't even looking for her. There was something else that was going on, and they happened to find her.
Now from our newsroom.
And yeah, sorry. Like I said, YouTube is trying something new. They've been kind of warning us for the last month that they're going to be adding kind of lives during the live shows, and this is for all YouTubers. that are monetized. Adjust it, like more ads, less ads. I put it at the lowest for you guys. But
Gabriella,
yeah.
This is a huge discovery, huge announcement. Still so many questions, though, regarding her disappearance.
Yeah, Karen McKillia, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation says it was after conducting a search in the Moffett area of Sasquatch County on September 22nd that human remains were found, but today those remains were officially identified as the missing wife and mother of two by the El Paso County coroner. 49-year-old Suzanne Morphew's disappearance has remained a mystery to investigators and the public for the last 3.5 years. And after she went missing, her bike was found in a ravine off of Chaffee County Road 225. Her husband, Barry Morphew, was arrested in May 2021 for her murder after quickly becoming the center of speculation for her disappearance. Evidence surfaced of the couple struggling with their relationship and Suzanne believed to have a boyfriend. Barry's case was eventually dismissed in April 2022 with an internal affairs document citing his arrest as premature and hasty. Though charges could still be filed against him in this case at a later date. Today, the Chaffee County Sheriff says while locating Suzanne's remains is critical to this investigation, there are still questions that remain for the family. And as of now, the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office says they will not be conducting a press conference on this case, but we will continue to monitor the latest information as it becomes available on air and online at cbscolorado.com. Karen?
Okay. So, we'll look at a couple other things here. Let me just check. Man, where'd my stuff go? Up top. I should have some things up there, like how many people are in the show. That disappeared. Oh well, that's okay. But if you haven't, please hit that like button. Thank you so much for the support and taking the time of your day to watch the show. Let's look on Twitter, see if there's anything else as far as any. I mean, I doubt there's going to be a lot of details until maybe tomorrow or was charged in 2000. So they did charge the husband originally in 2021, but then it was dismissed. And I think he's like suing them or in the middle of some kind of lawsuit, if I recall reading something about that. Anything else? It was really just talking about the remains being found, but nothing very specific and no mention of arrest right now. But that obviously could change. So there is that. So let's see, we started at 5. So I do want to talk about what's coming up on the show. I'm really excited. Let me pull this up here. If you guys have heard of the Brandon Lawson case, let me just pull that up here. I'm sure many of you have, or if you haven't, you've heard the 911 call. It's a pretty popular case. This is Brandon Lawson. He went missing. When did he go missing? In 2013, but there was this crazy 911 call where he's like running through the woods and you can hear what sounds like gunfire. And anyway, it's a crazy story. But anyway, a guy named Jason Watts, who we've had on the show a couple times, who is now a PI, which is awesome. He ran a team where he ended up going and finding some remains that they believed to be Brandon Lawson, which was many, many years later. I think in like 2022. So almost 10 years later. But sadly, those remains didn't have enough DNA in them. So they're not sure if they actually did find Lawson's remains or not. So this case is still actually not solved. They were hoping at least they had closure as far as, finding him. But they still haven't found who was behind it. There's theories, was he on using some substance? Because he did Apparently before had used a certain drug, and they thought maybe he could have been on something, and that's why the phone call is really weird, and maybe he's hallucinating. Others think that he was actually being chased through the woods, and it's really crazy. Anyway, so this guy, Jason Watts, amazing guy. He's from Texas, because this is where it happened, in Texas. And like I said, ran the search team that did find some remains, but we don't know for sure if they ended up being Brandon's, because there just wasn't enough DNA. So we're going to have him on the show this Saturday. So I usually go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So we're going to go Friday and Saturday. Not sure what time exactly yet, but it'll probably be around this time, kind of an early show. But yeah, so we're going to have Jason Watts on. I'm really excited. He's working on some cases, so we'll be talking about some of the latest cases he's working on, and he's actually working on the Jason Laundrie case, which is this one here, Laundrie. This case here, if you haven't heard about it, this is in San Marcos, Texas. He's working on this case. A 20-year-old who went missing, and a car was abandoned in 2020. So we'll talk a little bit about that case and some others as well. And yeah, let me see what's going on in chat. Let me make sure I didn't miss any other stuff. I'm sorry if I missed. Let's see. I think I got everybody's chat now. Yeah, mention the case again, Dom. I'm sorry. There was a lot going on. Can you type it in the chat again so I can see it? Because I was looking for it, and then, like I said, my PC is acting weird. I think I need to just kind of flush it, because I have a lot of stuff on it right now because of the trip. We just came back, doing the Dior Coons case. And I need to kind of wipe this PC and get it up and running like it used to. I was just going to see if I can spell it right. If there's anything else with Crystal Rogers. Arrest made. Finally... Here, let me click on that. See if there's just anything else on Crystal Rogers. There's the document I just read out to you. Well, let's see. Is this anything different? No. This is what I showed you guys just a minute ago. But I would not be surprised if there are more arrests coming. Oh, yeah, there was this statement by FBI Louisville. Let me read this. I'm not sure if there was anything in coordination with the Kentucky State Police, other local and federal law enforcement partners, FBI Louisville has been laser focused on our commitment to hold accountable those that were responsible for the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. Today, we take a significant step in making good on that promise. FBI Louisville and the Kentucky State Police have arrested Brooks Houck without incident on charges stemming from the Crystal Rogers investigation. The Houck indictment remains sealed, and additional details will be revealed during Houck's arraignment in early October in the Nelson County Court. So there is that statement by them, which is just amazing. Okay, Dom. Okay, let me write this down. Bear with me here, guys. Just a second. Lashkey Hill. Lashkey Hill. Was Wisconsin. 6 months missing, almost 7. It's suspicious as heck. Okay, let me pull that up real quick. Lasky Hill, Wisconsin. Mother fighting for justice. March 2020 disappearance. Here, let me move this over. Was last seen in Racine on the night of 26, one day before her birthday. Oh, that's terrible. This is the worst nightmare. Help me find my child. Georgia Hill pleaded, do the right thing. She was last seen on March 26th of this year, one day before her 46th birthday. Georgia told Dateline she raised her 3 daughters in Racine, I hope I'm saying that, Wisconsin. Lasky is the oldest. It's a city. It's a small kind of city. Very peaceful, but it got violent everywhere. That's terrible. 16. So there's a mother kind of showing some pictures, just praying. What does Facebook page? Okay, so it says there was no activity on her Facebook page. So yeah, that is suspicious. Georgia Hill told Dateline that she believes she knows the person who may have done something to her daughter's disappearance. He ate from my table. He ate from my daughter's table. He done been around. Wow. So maybe a boyfriend or an acquaintance. She's 5'1", 168 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. There's a $2,200 reward right now leading to information leading to her to Lasky. Interesting. I will keep an eye on that, Dom, and thank you again for your amazing support. But hopefully they get some justice and they find Lasky, hopefully safe. But with that, so like I said, we've got a show Friday as usual, but then Saturday we will have Jason Watts on. Sorry, so many cases going on in my head. And I was just doing a video for Delphi because there were some things I was going to do. But now we got all this Crystal Rogers and Suzanne. It's great that the things are getting done. But I mean, it's going to be busy. But so anyway, I think we're going to go ahead and end it there. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for your amazing support. Also, I have to quickly shout out somebody I haven't done for a while, which is my affiliate. So I'm going to quickly play that real quick. What's up, Mob Crew? How would you like to feel better about what you put into your body? This all-new product called Liquid IV is taking hydration to the next level. Liquid IV's Hydration Multiplier is a great tasting daily electrolyte drink mix that utilizes the breakthrough science of cellular transport technology to deliver hydration to your bloodstream faster and more efficiently than water alone. Just add the non-GMO electrolyte powder to your water and let CTT do the rest. It comes in tons of different flavors like strawberry, grape, lemon, lime, and much more. Just add the powder to water and get the hydration your body deserves. They have powder for energy, hydration, and even one to help you sleep better. If you'd like to learn more or purchase some, go to this link down in the description of this video. And if you use the code TheMobCrew. So anyway, yes, if you use Mob Crew, you use the link that's in the description. A lot of people like that stuff. I have a big supply of it that they sent me. It's actually, I use it because they have different versions, some for sleep, some for energy, and it does work. I love it. So just kind of like Kool-Aid, just mixed with your water. And it does has some amazing properties in it. So If you're interested in that, you get use my code, and sometimes you can get up to like 20, sometimes 25% off. Oh my gosh, what the heck? I don't even know what's going on in TikTok, but this guy just hit a bicyclist. Okay, I'm going to close that just in case, because you never know with Twitter. Man, never know with Twitter now. Just never know. But I just want to say thank you to the mods, Jennifer, D, Karen. Thank you guys so much. We have the best mods. They do a lot of work. I'm going to do a mod appreciation at some point this year before the year ends. And do something different. I don't want to mention anything now, but we are going to do something for the mods. So, because they do a lot. They don't get paid for it, but I try to do something for them, and we'll definitely do something for them before the year ends. So, but with that, we're going to end it. Thank you guys so much again. I love you guys. We're going to play the pet outro, and we will see you guys on Friday. And sorry again for the hiccup earlier, but shit happens, right? All right, we'll see you guys Friday.